Okay, Rudy, it's Steve Bloom here, North Suburban Tree Service, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of a demonstration as to some of the issues that we're talking about with the bucket. I've got two loaders, one with a different style high-tip bucket on it than the one that we purchased from you, as well as the bucket that we did purchase from you, and some of the things that are our concern. So just bear with me here for a second. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get these demonstrations established here for you, so we can show you what we're talking about. Okay, Rudy. As you can see, that's a pretty good sized machine. That's a 624J, and it's got big forestry tires for good traction. But it has a hard time trying to get a full scoop of that compost in the bucket. Even scooping out of a pretty good sized dense pile, it's having a hard time trying to get that thing full because of the, we're thinking it's mostly because of the bulkheads on the sides of the bucket. And you see that that's as far back as the bucket lays back right there. One of the problems that we have is that we're carrying loads of compost, hopefully full loads of compost, this mulch, across uneven terrain for long distances to load into a hopper that we use to fill compost filter sock. And with that bucket not laying back completely, the material doesn't stay in the bucket. It falls out as we drive across the uneven terrain, and it makes for a lot of waste because it doesn't lay back very far. And now you can see that if you're driving over some adverse terrain, that's going to be falling out. Now this other bucket that you see on this machine, we're going to demonstrate that for you as well, so that you can see how it lays back, and it does a little bit more adequate job of containing the material as we move it to the location where it's to be used. And it also, the design of the bucket seems to enable it to be filled more consistently and get a full load. We're figuring that even though this is about an 8-yard bucket, we're only able to get 4 or 5 yards in it because of the configuration of those bulkheads that are inside there. And you can see the paint's wore off them, so there's a lot of friction there where that's preventing the thing from being loaded properly in our view, but there may be some sort of a remedy, and that's what we're looking for. Okay, Rudy, one of the things that we do with these loaders is load out of small piles. A pile that would be unloaded out of a walking floor trailer, which is typically about 70 yards in size as far as the amount of compost that is in a trailer. And that develops a pile similar to what I'm going to show you here. And scooping that compost in a small pile like what I'm going to show you, it becomes a pretty good challenge with this bucket. It wants to push it across the ground instead of it loading the bucket. So I'll get to that in a minute, and I'm going to right now show you the other loader and the other bucket and how it loads, just so you see what we're comparing with. And I'll get to that here right now. Okay, Rudy, you see these where the hydraulic cylinders here are inside the bucket, and it's less disruptive to the actual loading of the bucket with that type of an arrangement we're thinking, which we didn't realize that when we bought this one that we got from you, which differs in the configuration as to how that is. Here's this one here, and that right there, these bulkheads, is what seems to damper the ability of the bucket to be able to get a full load in it. You can see the paint's wore off of there where it's got a lot of friction right there in that spot. But we're sure there's some sort of a solution to that, and that's what we're looking for, is a solution as to how we can get this thing to do what it's supposed to for us here. Alright, now we're going to do a demonstration as to how we load a small POW like we just developed there, and how this bucket does it versus the one that we got from you. Okay, Rudy, you see how this bucket here rolls back to the degree that it does, so that it can carry that material on that adverse condition that I'm talking about, the terrain. It can scoop it back and make sure that it contains all the material, and can also get a pretty good load in there. Now this is only a 5.5 to a 6 yard bucket on this, but you can see how full it is, and you can see how it can also lay it back and carry that and not be losing so much material at the front of the bucket when you're on adverse ground conditions. The topsy-turviness of the ground, a lot of that material falls out of the bucket that we purchased from you. And he's going to continue to build that POW. That's a similar size POW as to what you're going to see that we unload out of our walking floor trailers, and it's smaller and less dense than the POWs that he's loading out of right now. See, that's what we're looking for, something that can really get under that load. As I say, we have several loaders, not just these two you see, that do this work, and we're looking for a higher capacity for that bigger loader. We're just afraid we're not getting it because of the inability to be able to scoop it completely. Okay, Rudy, like I say, appreciate your time taking a look at this here video, and hopefully it's something, like I say, you can help us with. We're all about it, and we're in this neck of the woods. We have a lot of this filter sock that we're doing. We use these machines all the time. We're going to put a couple more machines on. We want you guys to be a part of it. Hopefully you can help us with our cause here. Thanks, and I'll wait to hear from you.